Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about your friends and family who spend majority of their time when they're in your presence wanting to reminisce. Reminiscing, you know what I'm saying? Reminiscing on the 3D surface level, you know what I'm saying, is just what it is. Reminiscing, you're rethinking thoughts, re-putting yourself back in that place. But here we understand that, we time travel. So if they are spending their time reminiscing, they are constantly time traveling back to the past. So if you're spending this much time in the past, how much time are you really moving forward? So I realized, between family and friends, spouses, partners I dealt with, you know what I'm saying? When you are absent from them for a while and you are back in each other's spaces, whether it's due to say my brother came up from Florida and we met at my mom's house, or we met at some different location, you know what I'm saying? My brother would be one of the ones who would spend more time reminiscing, about stuff when we were little, just little stuff we did for fun, stuff we did that was petty, or it would transition into, reminiscing about after high school, not as much high school, because me and him was kind of more so separating our space in between high school. But when I get around people, not just my brother, other people, spouses that I dealt with, and we stop talking for 6 months, a year and a half, and then when we start talking again, it's reminisce, it's time travel back to the past. You want to put me back in the past. You want me to time travel here. So there's a couple things happening when you time travel back to the past, and we'll just call it reminiscing for simpler explanation. So when they're pulling you back to reminisce, right? For one, you're not focused on the present or the future, so that's already one big major one. Which isn't bad if you just, you really had good energy with somebody and y'all spent 5-30 minutes reminiscing or time traveling in the past because you haven't seen each other in 5, 10, 20 years. That's a little different. I'm not speaking as far as anomalies. Most of us got 10 fingers. I'm not speaking for the people who have 9 fingers. I am aware there are people who are born with 9 fingers. There's people who are born with 11, 12 fingers. But majority of us, the way we were built by the Creator, is 10 fingers. So that's what I normally tend to speak to, not the minorities. Nothing wrong with the minorities. Just want to clear that up. But it's always to the majority. But you have that happening when you time travel, right? So you're not moving forward. They're pulling you in this space, and you're okay with going to that space. But then you also have, considering that this is an opposition that you're dealing with, somebody who operates against the natural flow of life, whether it's full-on demonic or whether it's a sheep following the demonic flow, you know what I'm saying? You have them working another spell on you in the process of pulling you into your past, pulling you into your past, pulling you into their past, you know what I'm saying? And it's usually has something to do with manipulating your energy or painting a new picture for you. When I was dealing with one other entity, this was all a while ago, I had stopped dealing with them for a small time period, right? Maybe a month or two. Got back around in their space. But when I got back around in their space, I had it in my space that there was going to be some tests laid out. I wanted to see what was going to happen, but this was an out of the state area with that being, and the test was from the universe. It wasn't from me. And after that, they failed all the tests. I stopped engaging with them. It was a handful of months in between there. But when the person reached out to engage again, it wanted to be more so on some having me remember all the good memories, you know, either the physical 3D items or, you know, just the times when there was better energy, you know, in the atmosphere. But for me, that never outweighed the witchy shit that was happening in the inside. So if I had allowed them to time travel me back to my past to repaint the picture, I would be looking at them in a different light. Because once you separate from people, it's already kind of like you naturally want to remember the good. You know, even though you remember your war wounds in the process too, you naturally want to remember. But when you're self-aware, you constantly counter your own thought process when you have these, oh, I remember doing this and doing that and being here and being there and it was all great. But then you always have this, oh shit, well, yeah, that was, I would get 4 to 5 days of this shit, but I only get 2 to 3 days of this shit right here. It doesn't weigh out, you know what I'm saying? But you have to remember, if they can get you to reminisce or to time travel back to the past, like these movies, that's what they do in the spiritual realm. They go back like these movies and they want to repaint the picture. They want to rechange some steps and recalculate some things. That way they can get another shot in the picture, or they can just change your outlook on how you perceive them. You know, even though you created your perception based off of their fruits and how they treated you. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's always like, it's a little bit of time to travel in the past, but when you haven't engaged with people for 15, 20, 30 years or a year or 2 years, like, what the fuck was you doing in between that time while we don't have shit else to talk about besides the past, traveling to the past, you know? I would have so much shit going on that if I run into you, the past would be the last thing that would be mentioned. Everything that's going on now, that's current, that's been more recent, is what's going to be being addressed and discussed and talked about. But that's not always the process when you're dealing with them. So that's why I say you have to be mindful of when they pull you back into the past to recreate that space in your spiritual realm. They're recreating that situation, but then they're changing the words and putting it how they want to. They're doing that, and they're also only giving you the good memories that you guys actually had together. You know, and it's not any of the witchy energy that went along with it. So say they drove you out to Florida or something. They're not mentioning the witchy energy that was in between there about how they was real shitty on the car ride, how they was missing exits on purpose, how they only complained about having to use the bathroom all the time. They're not going to mention these things over here. They're only going to mention about, yeah, remember we had that great trip when we went down out of state to such and such, you know? And even when I talk to people who like want to do the sympathy pity party, I always stop them and check them right in place there. And I usually address them as in why they're receiving this energy or getting this response from me. But they're always working their magic and spells, you know what I'm saying? That's why this shit is still flowing the way this is. That's why they still aren't seeing eye to eye with you, even though you're more so on following the natural flow of life. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that everybody is running around being witchy with ill intentions, but the demonic team, if you're not flowing with the creator, you're automatically on their team. There is no middle ground out here. I'm sorry and not sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need every vessel possible to use to do this work. You know? So for me, I understood that reminiscing is another way for them to, you know, what's it? Back to the Future, the old movie. You want to travel me to the past. You know what I'm saying? That one went to the future, but you want to travel me to the past, you know? You want to recreate what I experienced, but because the spiritual realm is stronger than the physical realm, they're actually able to do that if you are not strong enough to maintain your own self-awareness and balance, you know what I'm saying? And if you're not strong enough to be able to block out that spell when it's being casted on you, you know what I'm saying? Words are spells and spells are real. If it wasn't, then we would be communicating every day like how a new person, a new female or male does when they have a baby. We all communicate with our kids without using words. So there's no reason for us to be really intelligent for a year or two and then because we had a kid and then we go back to being stupid and retarded again. Like, that don't make any sense to me. But I understand like a lot of things with the demonic team doesn't make sense. That's the whole purpose of it, is chaos. So if it's not bringing any clarity and it's just leaving more confusion in the air, you already know where that perspective or where that information is coming from. This shit is always very clear. This shit is always very clear, you know what I'm saying? But reminiscing is really just a way for them to pull you back into your past, to work their magic, have you remembering things completely different. It's like a subtle way of mind control. MK Ultra, it's a subtle way of mind control. Like, you already know the torturous shit you've been through. Like, with my moms, I already know the fucked up shit I've been through with my moms, whether it was some good stuff there or not. But, like, for the amount of fucked up shit it was, like, she's the adult. She should have been making some corrections or doing something. You send me a text to tell me somebody passed away, but I don't give a fuck about Father's Day, but you didn't send me no message for y'all holiday. You know, so I didn't feel any guilt for not responding to her. That's all of these signs from the universe is always showing me that you don't have any reason to feel any guilt for your belief system, because I'm going to keep lining this up for you to show you that 9 out of 10 people is not going to walk with you in the physical realm, because I am resistance. But when I create that space, that 9 out of 10 over here, I'm going to take that 1. That 9 out of 10 over here, I'm going to take that 1. Now I got 2. That 9 out of 10 over here, I'm going to take that 1. Now I got 3. You build it completely different. You just have to keep going around to the different bundles and batches, you know what I'm saying? So you're not going to get it all in one wop. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? I just want y'all to be aware that people will pull you back into the past. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit world is stronger than your physical world. So if you're thinking about your past and talking about your past, reminiscing and spending a lot of time in there, you just have to remember you're not being present and you're not building on the future. You know what I'm saying? Usually if you're traveling back to the past, you should be pulling yourself back there. Or if the other people is pulling you back there, y'all should be talking about something that y'all went through and then how y'all overcame it. It should be a circulation, like a ventilation, you know what I'm saying? That the air has to circulate through. Same thing, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below, you know what I'm saying? Words are spells, spells are real. Peace and love to the kings and queens.